How Bill Gates Got Rich. Bill Gates, computer genius, Microsoft mogul, and philanthropist. How did the second richest man in the world reach a net worth of $115.6 billion? In today's episode, we will tell you just how William Henry Gates III got rich.
My name is Dan Henry, and when I was 16 years old, I decided that I wanted to be rich. So I studied as many wealthy entrepreneurs as I could and used what I learned to create my own successful business. The purpose of this channel is to share my research with the world and show you how they got rich.
The name Bill Gates is synonymous with Microsoft and money. He's a well-known entrepreneur, business mogul, philanthropist, and investor. Gates' drive to devour as much computer knowledge as possible drove him to make many decisions that others would find questionable. But it was that very drive that took him down the road to reach a net worth of $115 billion. William Henry Gates III was the only son born to William H. Gates Sr. and Mary Maxwell Gates on October 28, 1955. Trey, as his family called him, was a little guy who spent a lot of time alone in his room. His mom would often check on him, and he'd shout back, "I'm thinking, have you ever tried thinking?" Even in his self-imposed solitude, there was a spunkiness waiting. Bill would need some spunk to survive childhood bullying and thrive in a competitive family. He didn't only thrive in that competitive environment, he welcomed it. He would put himself in charge of planning athletic games and board games with his parents and two sisters at their summer home. That would lay the groundwork for the cutthroat years ahead of him. You'd probably find young Bill Gates with his nose in a book. While most boys were reading comics or a Hardy Boys mystery, this kid was glued to a reference book. Even with all those words filling his mind, he was bored. Bill was so bored that it affected his behavior and caused him to be withdrawn. So despite their love for public education, his parents enrolled him in private school. At Lakeside School, young Bill Gates would thrive in every aspect of his education, including his relationships. It was here that he would develop lasting friendships and get his first taste of computers. One taste was all it took. He couldn't get enough. He wrote his very first software program as a student at Lakeside when he was just 13 years old. He wrote a basic program that enabled users to play tic-tac-toe against the computer. This only served to whet his appetite for all things computer-related. Gates and three buddies would form Lakeside Programmers Club to earn money and gain more experience. The boys searched for bugs in the Computer Center Corporation in exchange for more time on the computers. Not a bad gig for Paul Allen, Rick Weiland, Bill Gates, and his best friend, Kent Evans. The next year, Gates and his best friend were asked to computerize the class scheduling system for Lakeside. Being the ever-brilliant teen, Gates made sure to schedule at least one of his classes with all girls. The boys maintained focus to be certain the work was done for their senior year. Tragedy struck. Bill would experience some of the deepest sadness he's ever known. A mountain climbing accident would take the life of his best friend, Kent Evans. At this point, Gates reached out to Paul Allen for help in finishing the project. Their partnership would lead to forming Trafodata. By using the Intel 8008 processor, they would create a way to measure traffic flow in Seattle. Their venture would earn $20,000. Bill Gates graduated from high school as a National Merit Scholar, scored a 1590 on the SAT, and eventually found himself as a student of Harvard. Despite the prestige that comes with being enrolled at Harvard, his heart wasn't in it. Although he chose a pre-law major, Gates pursued computer science and math. He would rather have joined a game of poker than attend a class. In December 1974, his first microcomputer, the Altair 8800, caught Bill Gates' full attention thanks to an article Paul Allen shared with him. Using some rather exaggerated storytelling, the two of them called MITs and convinced their president that they'd written a basic computer language for the Altair. It was a bold-faced lie, but it worked. The president asked to see it. So, Allen and Gates had a massive amount of work to do, and fast. Without access to an actual Altair, the team worked tirelessly in Harvard's computer lab to write the program on computers that somewhat mimicked the Altair. All they could do was continue their work and hope it would run. Fingers crossed, they flew to MITS in Albuquerque and had no idea if their project would prove successful. But of course, it ran. And that was it. Gates set off from school. Goodbye Harvard, hello Albuquerque. Harvard was not left without Bill Gates leaving his mark. Before his exit, he wrote a mathematics paper on pancake stacking. The system he devised with his mathematical equation remained unrivaled for 30 years. During a time when having a computer in the average American home was nearly unheard of, Gates and Allen had a dream. They wanted to make it possible for every household to have its own computer. The two of them would make a pipe dream into a reality for not only Americans, but for many people all over the world. It was Allen who would combine microcomputer and software to name their partnership Microsoft. Soon, Rick Weiland would join his high school friends in their new business, and by the end of 1976, Microsoft was their officially registered trademark. Their initial product offering was basic software to run on the Altair. Although they received royalties and a fee for it, about 90% of the people using their basic program were not paying for it. They would later discover that people were making copies and passing it around for free. Microsoft would separate from MITS and develop software for Tandy Corp, Commodore, and Apple. By 1979, they moved their headquarters north to Bellevue, Washington, and Gates would place himself at the head of their company. It was here that IBM would approach Microsoft. IBM had a problem. IBM needed its own operating system and no company could meet their needs. Luckily for IBM, Gates was a problem solver. Gates purchased an operating system and turned it into MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System, which he then licensed to IBM. The genius of the deal was that Bill Gates kept the rights to the system, so Microsoft could license to other computer manufacturers. As he predicted, these other manufacturers began developing and offering PCs to the general public. Naturally, these PCs were in need of operating systems. What else were they to choose but MS-DOS? This move resulted in millions. From 80 to 81, Microsoft sales went from $7.5 million to $16 million. Microsoft was growing by leaps and bounds in sales and employees, expanding to Great Britain and Japan by 1983. Microsoft had absolutely made its mark on the proverbial map. Apple threw a bit of a wrench into Microsoft's rocket-like trajectory in 1984 when they presented the Macintosh computer. The Macintosh graphical user interface was much more user-friendly. This fact was a threat to the continued success of Microsoft. Not to be outdone, Gates bluffed and announced the development of Windows. 2 years later, in 1985, Windows became available in the retail market. In 1987, Bill was recognized as the youngest self-made billionaire in the world, with a net worth of $1.25 billion. He has continued to maintain his billionaire status every year since. Through all of the creation, development, and marketing strategy, Bill Gates was there. He made his presence known in all aspects of the company. Whether it was product development or corporate strategy, Gates was involved. Although he was at the executive helm, he would continue writing code through 1989. Windows was not without its problems. It would take years of development to improve the product and work out some of its user-frustrating issues. By 95, Microsoft combined its products into suites, convinced computer makers to preload the software onto their products, and introduced Windows 95. And Gates would celebrate his first anniversary to wife Melinda. In 1999, Microsoft was worth $19.7 billion, and Bill Gates had a net worth of $90 billion. The following year, he took on the role of Chief Software Architect, while the role of CEO would be taken over by Steve Ballmer. The relationship between the two leaders would become legendary. Following the example his mother had set, Bill pursued philanthropy. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was established in 2000 and gave its first $1 billion to 20,000 kids so they could afford college. In the next couple of years, the foundation would help put computers into schools in all of the 50 states. Several years later in 2008, Bill Gates would leave the daily grind at Microsoft and stay busy with philanthropic pursuits and his other business interests. His giving and endeavors to improve the world are countless. Men like Gates are almost never still. His mind has yet to slow down. Throughout the years, he has made investments in various companies, such as AutoNation, BGC3, the Canadian National Railway, Ecolab, and TerraPower. Not only has he invested his physical wealth, but he has also invested his wealth of knowledge into writing 3 different books. William Henry Gates III may have come into this world as a tiny human, but he has turned into a giant, leaving his footprints all over the globe. His voracious appetite for knowledge of computers led him to plunge headfirst into developing one of the most lucrative businesses in the world. The business tycoon and worldwide philanthropist currently stands as the second wealthiest human on the planet, with a net worth of $115.6 billion.
Hey, Dan Henry here, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of How They Got Rich. I created this channel because these men and women inspired me to quit my job years ago as a pizza boy and pursue entrepreneurship, which eventually led me to become a multi-millionaire. If you'd like to know more about that, you can follow me on my main YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dan Henry. But before you go, I'd like to remind you why the people on this channel are successful, as well as myself. It's because they've mastered 3 main areas of their life: business, productivity, and mindset. And that's why I've made it my life's work to help others in those 3 key areas. So here are 3 ways I can help you right now. If you own a business and you're looking to grow it, you can head over to getclients.com and learn how we built a $20 million business, as well as learn how these strategies can apply to your business. You'll find a collection of free trainings, podcasts, and blog posts on that website to help you grow your business. As well, you can grab a free copy of my book, Digital Millionaire Secrets, which is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. You can find that on getclients.com. Number 2, you can head over to plantomorrow.com and check out the Plan Tomorrow Daily Planner. This is a planner I personally designed to make myself more productive and get things done. Because the truth is, if you want to do big things, you have to get things done. And I know this planner will help change your life like it's changed mine. For a limited time, it also comes with a free productivity class taught by me. So head over there right now and grab yourself a copy. And finally, number 3, if you're struggling with mindset, confidence, motivation, imposter syndrome, or you're just looking to develop a rock solid mindset so you can achieve more in life, then I want you to head over to howtothink.com, where we have daily mindset mentoring on how to achieve anything in life by changing the way you think. So grab a copy of your Plan Tomorrow Daily Planner now. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode.